Something is happening with Social Security, and it feels like every week there's another round of confusion, walkbacks, and just kidding statements. If you're scratching your head and wondering what's really going on, trust me, you're not alone. Millions of Americans are asking the exact same questions right now. In fact, what we're seeing with Social Security this year has been a roller coaster of mixed messages. One day officials say one thing, and then the very next day, sometimes within hours, they come back and completely reverse themselves. And the frustrating part is, these aren't small details. These are comments about the future of retirement benefits, eligibility, and the financial stability of the entire Social Security system. Now, just a short while ago, the Acting Commissioner of Social Security, Frank Bisano, made some very interesting remarks in an interview. If you caught that clip, you probably know what I'm talking about. But if you didn't, don't worry. I'll break it down for you. And let me warn you, what he said and what happened just one day later do not line up. That's where all the confusion is coming from, and that's what has people so upset. So let's start from the beginning. During a recent interview, Frank Bisano was asked a pretty direct question. Would Social Security consider raising the full retirement age to deal with its looming insolvency? Now, if you've been following Social Security news at all, you know this is a hot-button issue. Raising the retirement age means people would have to work longer before they can receive full benefits, and that idea is not popular at all. When asked, Bisano's response was essentially, everything is on the table. He explained that discussions about Social Security reform involve multiple parties: the Treasury Secretary, the Labor Secretary, Health and Human Services, the White House, and, of course, Congress. His point was that the trustees and lawmakers would eventually have to come together to find a plan, and that might take a while. But then he added something else. He said younger generations should expect to play by a different set of rules. In plain English, that means people under a certain age, maybe under 40 or 45, may not have the same retirement age or benefit rules as current retirees or those close to retirement. Now, think about what that implies. That sounds a lot like raising the full retirement age for younger workers. And to make things even clearer, the host of the interview directly asked about starting retirement later than 65 or 67. And Bisano didn't shut it down. He didn't say, absolutely not. Instead, he left the door wide open. So naturally, people who watched that interview thought, okay, this is it. Social Security is preparing to raise the retirement age for younger generations. Here's where things get messy. Literally the very next day, the official Social Security account on X, formerly Twitter, posted a statement. And in that post, they basically said, there are no current plans to raise the full retirement age. Wait, what? Didn't the acting commissioner just say everything was on the table, including retirement age changes? How could both of these statements be true? This is where the frustration comes in. Americans who rely on Social Security, or plan to in the future, are hearing two completely different messages within 24 hours. It leaves people wondering, who's actually in charge? What's the real plan? And why can't we just get a straightforward answer? Why this matters? Let's pause for a second and talk about why this conversation even exists. Social Security is facing a very serious funding problem. The trust funds that support retirement benefits are projected to run low in the next decade. If nothing is done, future retirees could face across-the-board benefit cuts of around 20% or more. To prevent that, lawmakers have a few options. 1. Raise taxes on workers or high earners to bring in more revenue. 2. Cut benefits by changing formulas or reducing payouts. 3. Raise the full retirement age so people wait longer to claim full benefits. 4. A mix of all of the above. Now, of all these options, raising the retirement age is one of the least popular politically. Think about it. If a politician stood up and said, "Vote for me, I'll make you work longer before you get your benefits," do you think that candidate would win? Not a chance. That's why officials are so careful about what they say publicly. So when Bisano seemed to hint that raising the age is possible, it created a stir. And then, when the Social Security account walked it back, it only made people more suspicious. Many believe it's not that the idea is off the table, it's just that they don't want to admit it openly because it's so unpopular. Let's be realistic here. Even if officials don't want to admit it, raising the retirement age has always been one of the top solutions in Social Security reform discussions. Historically, the retirement age has already been raised before. For many years, it was 65. Then it gradually increased to 66 and eventually 67 for people born after 1960. So the idea of raising it again, maybe to 68, 69, or even 70 for younger workers, is not far-fetched. In fact, many financial experts say it's almost inevitable. Without it, Social Security will face even more financial strain. But again, it's important to note, any changes like this would most likely apply only to younger generations, not to people who are already retired or close to retirement. That's the only way lawmakers could even hope to push such a change without sparking outrage from current retirees. Why the mixed messaging? So why did Bisano say one thing and the Social Security office say another? There are a few possible reasons. 1. He may have spoken too openly. Sometimes officials say things in an interview that they weren't supposed to say publicly yet. When that happens, their office has to quickly walk it back. 2. They want to calm fears. If millions of people suddenly think their retirement age is being raised tomorrow, panic sets in. The walkback might have been meant to reassure people that no immediate changes are happening. 3. Politics. Let's face it, Social Security is one of the most politically sensitive issues in America. No one wants to be the one accused of cutting benefits or raising retirement ages, so they dance around the subject. Whatever the reason, the result is the same: confusion, mistrust, and frustration for everyday Americans. The political angle. Let's play out a hypothetical. Imagine a presidential candidate openly runs on the idea of raising the retirement age. Do you think they'd win? Honestly, no. It's a political disaster waiting to happen. People don't want the goalposts moved farther away, especially when they've been working and paying into the system for decades. So what's more likely? Quiet behind-the-scenes talks about raising the age for younger generations while publicly denying it's even being considered. That way, by the time changes are announced, it's framed as a long-term fix that won't affect current retirees. What it means for you. Here's the bottom line. If you're already retired or close to retirement age, you're probably safe. No one is going to suddenly move your full retirement age from 67 to 70. That would be political suicide. But if you're younger, let's say under 40, you should prepare for the possibility that your Social Security rules might look different by the time you retire. That could mean a higher full retirement age, smaller benefits, or other adjustments. The key takeaway is that Social Security reform is coming one way or another. The system simply cannot continue on its current path forever. Whether it's higher taxes, reduced benefits, or delayed retirement, changes are inevitable. So, what do we make of all this? Did Frank Bisano let the truth slip out in that interview? Or was it a simple misunderstanding? Either way, the fact that his comments had to be walked back the very next day tells us something important. Officials are very cautious about how they talk about Social Security, and that's because they know how much this program matters. For over 70 million Americans, Social Security is a lifeline. It's not just a government program, it's food on the table, rent money, and health care. So when officials flip-flop on their statements, it shakes people's confidence. Here's what we can say with confidence. Social Security will not disappear. Changes are coming, most likely for younger generations. Raising the retirement age remains one of the top options, even if officials don't want to admit it publicly. So the best thing you can do is stay informed, keep paying attention to these updates, and prepare for different scenarios. Whether that means saving a little more for retirement, planning to work a bit longer, or just keeping an eye on new policies, knowledge is power. And of course, We'll keep following this story closely because if there's one thing we've learned, it's that Social Security news changes quickly. One day it's one thing, the next day it's something else.